Hello, and welcome to Who Cares News. I'm your host, Brandon Davis, and today we'll be discussing a leading issue in the country, stereotype threats. Specifically, how stereotype threats affect citizens' encounters with law enforcement. First, we must define a stereotype threat. A stereotype threat is the risk of confirming to someone else a negative stereotype associated with one's own social group. In this case, and in this context, it is confirming or sending perception to law enforcement negative stereotypes regarding criminal activity and criminal behavior in ethnic groups. Stereotype threats are harmful for people to indulge, as it encourages tribalism and can lead to decreased task performance and increased self-defeating strategies. Cynthia Najdowski and al. Conducted 2 studies in which they studied the opinions of law enforcement of black and white people. In the first study, they were asked to report how they felt when they were interacting with police or when police approached them. More so with black people than white, they feared that the police would assume automatically that they were engaging in criminal behavior based on the negative stereotypes associated with them. Interestingly, black men feared this more than black women. In the second study, blacks and whites were asked to imagine or create a scenario where a police encounter could turn sour. In explaining their imagined scenarios, black people used stereotype threat in their scenarios more than white people. We wanted to get an assessment of community members' opinions on stereotypes in police encounters. Out into the field with someone who's totally not...
Hey, thanks, David. It's your boy Joey Salads out here, back at it again. It's another beautiful day out here in Florida. We're going to be traversing the Great Plains, and we're going to find some random people, and we're going to ask them today's pressing issue regarding stereotype threats. This should be fun. Don't touch that dial. Game of Thrones is over. What's your opinion on the relations between law enforcement and the general public nowadays?
See, I feel like the general public has more of an eye on the cops nowadays because, with all the recent shootings with African Americans, people are not as trusting as they are of cops as they used to be. Especially since cops are now covering what they're doing now. Yeah. So it's just leading to more mistrust between people now and the cops. So I feel like nowadays people it's not like they completely they don't trust cops anymore. It's more like they have more of an eye on cops now. That's what I feel like.
I see. Okay. Do you think that cops stereotype based on stereotypes of maybe culture or race or ethnicity?
I mean, I do feel like race does play a part in them choosing who they want to I guess pull over.
Oh, okay.
I guess that does play a part. I mean, because I guess what I've seen recently, compared to other races of people, I feel like African Americans get pulled over a lot more because that's the stereotype I guess nowadays.
Yeah. And you see that all over the news nowadays.
Pretty much.
All right, cool. Thanks for your time.
No problem.
All right. Hello.
Hi.
So, do you have an opinion on the relations between law enforcement and the general public nowadays?
Yeah. I have an opinion.
What is it?
I think it's not as close or easy to talk to law enforcement like it used to be years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Now people are afraid to deal with the cops,
Yeah. Do you think that law enforcement might maybe stereotype or discriminate based on race or ethnicity when they're pulling someone over?
Kind of, yeah. I think these days what they do now is the type of car you drive, the time of day, here in the state of Florida, the tint on your windows. Yeah. If you're a young person, they're going to pull you over and give you a hard time. That's my opinion. I've seen it.
So what is your opinion on the relations between law enforcement and the general public nowadays?
Well, law enforcement, I feel like it's pretty entirely subjective depending on where you are, because here in Port St. Lucie, we're like pretty tight. I mean, I can't speak for the people in New York, because like people in New York, there's so many more cops, there's so many more people, and it's kind of, everybody's hustling. I don't feel like there's as big a connection between the police and the people there, but here, I mean, we're in the South, it's pretty tight. I feel like we're all right.
Okay, cool. Do you think that the police discriminate or stereotype based off of ethnicity or race?
I mean, probably not. There might be a few dudes who do, but for the most part, I mean, speaking from personal experience, no. Watching the news, maybe. Who knows?
Who knows?
There might be a couple.
With CNN. All right, cool. Thank you. Wow, what a report. When did it get dark out? Anyway, we can certainly see a lot of diverse opinions regarding this topic. Some people think that the cops do stereotype, and others not so much. Maybe we can find some parallels between this and the study conducted. Well, it's been my pleasure. Back to you in the Situation Room, Wolf Blitzer.
As we can see, stereotype threats are a major issue, one that the community members seem to have major opinions about. It's important to have these kinds of discussions as we work towards solutions on how to fix this problem, if we even can. Thanks for joining us. More with Who Cares News at 11. A tennis player wins at tennis again, and Bicycle Man rides to the store in one piece. I've been Ben Shapiro. Goodbye.